In 2025, Argentina made headlines when President Javier Milei's administration declassified over 1,850 documents related to Nazi fugitives who found refuge in the country after World War II. But perhaps even more shocking was the discovery of 83 boxes of Nazi propaganda materials hidden in the basement of Argentina's Supreme Court building for over 80 years. These revelations provide unprecedented confirmation of what researchers like those featured in our previous episode, Hitler in South America, have long suspected. Argentina served as a safe haven for the highest ranking Nazi war criminals, and the evidence suggests this may have included Adolf Hitler himself.
This is Cryptic Accounts. By paranoid people. For paranoid people. Cryptic Accounts.
Welcome to Cryptic Accounts, a podcast by paranoid people for paranoid people. I'm Patrick Ryan, joined as always by Dennis Cheney.
Hello.
How's it going, buddy?
It's going to be a fun one.
It is. Before we get to that, though, hit the like, share, subscribe, write a positive comment, give us a 5-star review. If you want to help us out, go over to crypticaccounts.com and click on support the show. We appreciate it all very much. Really, more than anything, though, sharing the show, liking the show, any type of engagement helps us. As you know, content, if you scroll through our shows, not stuff that gets promoted very much most of the time. It's all organic engagement that helps us. We don't have any big backers that are pushing our show forward. It's you. It's all you. So anything you can do helps us out immensely.
The man is trying to shut us down.
Dude, I mean, we say it, but that's, you see what it looks like on the back end. That is exactly
Algorithm.
what, yes. We are not algorithm friendly, despite our best efforts to word things correctly everywhere. Oh boy.
Bad boys.
I mean, we probably should have been more careful early on.
You know what we should do? We should talk about Hitler for an hour. That'll help us.
That probably is going to help us a lot. With this, though, I think, I don't know how much we can get censored for it, because it's what we're going to talk about is very
mainstream news.
It's mainstream, but the thing is, the important part is we were right. 4 years ago, we were right.
Nailed it.
This was your research, actually.
People have been saying it forever.
Yeah, and you put together an amazing episode that really laid it all out and was breadcrumbs the whole way through, but it made a lot of sense. And I have the connector now that proves that you were right 4 years ago.
Let's go.
So if you're curious about that one, you can go back and find the episode. It's just Hitler in South America was the name of that episode.
Yep.
From a few years ago. Scroll down a little bit if you're on YouTube or wherever you're listening to. Just find the Hitler in South America.
Are we going to get into Antarctica at all?
No, that's a different one.
A whole different thing. Okay.
That's a different one. I think that was Nazis in Antarctica.
Yeah, we should revisit that.
That's a different episode. That one, I mean, I don't know.
Operation High Jump.
Yes, that was what it was.
Yeah.
I think it was just, it's something about Antarctica in the title of the episode,
right?
If I remember right. But yeah, that was another good one. There's more stuff coming out about that. We actually do need to revisit Antarctica and all the new stuff that's happening.
The base.
Yes.
The space weapon.
The space. Yeah, that's a thing. Like,
space.
I don't want to get sidetracked too hard on
yeah.
that, but that just came out.
I know.
That just broke. And like, yeah, that's a real thing. I'm like, one of us is going to have to put in the work on that one and put an episode together. I mean, the people do want another episode from you, Dennis.
I know.
They do. I'm
working on a super secret project right now.
Yes, there's a couple of them for the show that are coming together that we're going to tell you about as soon as we can. It's too soon to mention it yet.
Yup.
But I got one that I'm working on. You got one that you're working on. It's going to be good. So let's just jump right into this. So we've got newly released Argentine documents, and they paint a disturbing picture of systematic government complicity, in harboring Nazi war criminals. Among the most significant revelations are detailed records of high-ranking SS officers, concentration camp commanders, and other Nazi officials that they established new identities and built comfortable lives for themselves in Argentina with full knowledge and assistance of government officials.
Wow.
And again, 1,850 declassified documents that came out in May.
Yeah.
In May of 2025.
I'm interested to hear this thing about the stuff in the courthouse.
Oh, dude, that may not even be the weirdest thing I've gotten here.
Oh, good.
So the documents confirm the presence of notorious figures like Joseph Mengele, the Angel of Death.
Really, him?
He was there,
Whoa.
and I believe he got caught.
Okay.
I believe the CIA went down there and
I'm
got
pretty
him.
sure the Mossad killed a bunch of them.
That also is, I think, true too.
There was a great movie about that, dude.
Yeah,
Oh, was it called Munich? What was no?
it's not Munich. Man, I was just talking about that like a couple days ago, and now I'm blanking.
I used to have the DVD, and I'd watch it all the time. It's kind of sad I don't remember the name. Great movie about the Mossad just going around killing Nazis, dude.
You could probably Google that and it would
Yeah.
come up.
All right.
But Angel of Death, like I said, Joseph Mengele, if you don't know who he was, he conducted horrific medical experience at Auschwitz. Then there's Adolf Eichmann, architect of the Holocaust logistics, and Eric Priebecki, who orchestrated the massacre of 335 Italian civilians. What makes
Wow.
yeah, what makes these documents particularly significant is their detailed documentation of the support network. And this is the biggest part that I'm going to add to the whole thing that we did in that last episode is how they pulled this off.
Yeah, was it U-boats or what? Okay.
Mm.
Oh, really? Okay.
This whole network enabled these fugitives to not only escape justice, but to thrive in their new homeland of Argentina.
Living, laughing, loving.
Yeah, hating Jews. Yeah. So the documents confirm the presence. Like I said, so these declassified documents of these very notorious people reveal specific mechanisms for creating new identities that were far more sophisticated than previously known about how these guys all escaped. So Joseph Mengele entered Argentina using a false passport under the name Helmut Gregor, who claimed to be a 38-year-old mechanical technician. Adolf Eichmann used a passport issued by the Red Cross
Ooh, that's a little tidbit.
to enter Argentina in 1950 under the alias Ricardo Clement, posing as a stateless technician supposedly born in the Italian city of Bolzano. So what's particularly striking is how secure these war criminals were in their new home. Mengele's police record shows that on November 26th, 1956, he applied for a new national identity document under his real name.
Dang. He wasn't messing her. He's like, I'm safe.
Quote, in connection with the rectification of his first and last name, with his true identity restored, he crossed into Uruguay and married his brother's widow. And the two returned to live in Argentina without fear of prosecution.
And this is new.
I don't know that anybody knew all that. Like, that's kind of all coming out. Like,
Dang.
people have been piecing this together for a while.
The name thing changed. The name change thing surprises me
Yes.
because that's like a vital statistic. So
That's like a newish thing that's come
Yeah.
out. Is like, we know that
you'd
he
think
did.
a researcher would have found that.
And like that's in these documents. So there's again 1,850 pages. And that's not even counting what was underneath the Supreme Court. That's all propaganda stuff. We're going to get to that.
Okay.
So the scale of this operation was massive. According to the declassified documents, as many as 9,000 Nazi war criminals reportedly escaped to Argentina, and that was up to 5,000 of them. Brazil up to 2,000, and Chile up to 1,000. The discovery in 2020 of a list containing 12,000 Nazis who lived in Argentina in the 1930s, many with connections to Swiss bank accounts. And we're going to get to that Swiss bank, but you might have some guesses already. It's probably the one you think it is. further demonstrates the extent of Nazi influence in the country even before the war had ended. So before the war was even over, there were Nazis already going down to South America,
That makes
kind of
sense.
setting things up.
That makes
Like,
sense.
this could go sideways real bad. We need someplace to go.
Wow. What was the government like there? Were they like a puppet state, or were they like
I didn't dig into that as much. I'm honestly not sure.
because there were a lot of like soft fascists, around
Yes, I mean they were sympathizers for sure.
yeah. I guess that was my question. Yeah.
Oh, and as we go further, you'll see like they are
Yeah.
definitely sympathizers. I mean, they definitely had a direct connection. I'm not sure exactly what their government was doing then. Like South American governments tend to kind of change
Yeah.
what they're doing at different points. I believe they lean more fascist at this point, though.
I would believe it.
Please correct me in the comments.
Yeah. They definitely weren't anti-Nazi.
No, I think that's pretty clear. So perhaps the most startling revelation came from the discovery of 83 boxes of Nazi propaganda materials in the basement of Argentina's Supreme Court building.
Who doesn't have a bunch of Nazi things in their basement?
I mean, you go to your grandma and grandpa's basement, there's at least going to be a couple boxes, right? We've all had that experience. So these materials, hidden for over 8 decades, included newspapers, pamphlets, photographs, and other propaganda items that demonstrate the extensive reach of Nazi influence within Argentine society and government institutions. The fact that they were stored in the Supreme Court itself suggests that Nazi sympathies extended to the highest levels of Argentina's judicial system. And it just the discovery provides a crucial context for understanding how Nazi fugitives were able to operate with such impunity in a post-war Argentina. So, as we explored in the previous episode, Hitler in South America, researchers have long suspected that Argentina's relationship with Nazi fugitives went far beyond what official histories acknowledged. The declassified CIA documents that we discussed, including the 1955 cable from Maracaibo, Venezuela, reporting that Hitler was living in Colombia under the name Adolf Schrittlemeyer, which, I mean, if you're gonna pick, I mean, given don't go by Hitler, but also like keeping the name Adolf, bold move.
Oh yeah, bold move. Do you think he kept the stash?
Oh, we saw the picture.
I know.
There's the picture.
There's clearly a picture of Hitler. It's clearly Hitler.
And we were pretty sure when we did that episode because it definitely looked like Hitler. But I think this just vindicates all of that. So if you want to see the picture, find that episode.
Me, all these other people made it down there, but they wouldn't save Hitler. He was in the bunker
and then killed him. No,
yeah,
unalived himself.
Never found his body.
Yeah, that's the other thing. They never found his body, but he definitely unalived himself in a bunker.
They said they threw him in a common grave and set it on fire.
Oh, okay. Sure. That's an easy explanation. So, again, Hitler, Schrittlemeyer.
Snow.
So they now take new significance in light of these Argentine revelations. The research conducted by shark hunters, a group of U-boat historians who visited Nazi-built hotels in Argentina, which we discussed. We're gonna recap that a little bit though. They documented clear evidence of ongoing Nazi presence and sympathy. Their interviews with hotel staff who performed Nazi salutes and spoke of SS members celebrating Hitler's birthday at these remote locations now appear even more credible given the official documentation of Nazi networks in Argentina.
Yup.
So the declassified documents provide new context for the mysterious German-funded hotels built in remote areas of Argentina during and after World War II. These establishments were part of a broader infrastructure designed to support Nazi fugitives and their sympathizers.
So are they still down there? I mean, I know.
I mean, they're not open, I don't think. Yeah. But they're still there.
They'd have to have like family.
I mean, they were running until the 2000s.
Dang.
If I remember correctly.
This is going to sound really weird. Maybe I shouldn't say this on the internet. I always feel a little bad whenever they arrest like 100-year-old Nazi. I'm like,
are you a Nazi?
No, absolutely not. But a little bad.
feel like there should be a statute of
Well,
limitations on
it's like
genocide.
no. If you're just one of the,
Be very careful. Tread lightly now, Dennis.
never mind. I'm just stopped. It's just so you're so old. They're so old.
No, I think they should still get a chamber.
I agree. I
Like,
agree. You have to face consequences.
we still got them. We could fire
You
those things
can't
back
wait
up.
it out. Yeah,
Throw some Zyklon in there and let's go.
they should be in jail or whatever.
No, I think they should just get the Zyklon.
Just kill them. Yeah.
Yeah, just do it.
Once a Nazi, always a Nazi. But sometimes I feel like they're scraping the barrel.
I mean,
They're like, this dude was 16 and he helped run a factory.
you gotta make me feel bad about it, and I still want the Zyklon. So, Hotel Eden. So, built under Argentina's golden age in 1898 and purchased by the Eichhorn brothers in 1912, Hotel Eden in La Falda became a center of Nazi activity in Argentina. Walter and Ida Eichhorn were documented Nazi sympathizers and close friends of Hitler himself. The couple contributed approximately 30,000 Deutschmarks, which is the equivalent of about $1 million today. They contributed this to Hitler and the Nazi Party, and collecting money in Argentina from local sympathizers and German expatriates.
Okay.
So the connection to Hitler was personal and direct. Hitler sent the Eichhorns a personally inscribed silver frame portrait for their 25th wedding anniversary in 1937, writing, Mr. and Mrs. Eichhorn, to my comrades in battle during difficult times, for your silver anniversary, warm wishes, Adolf Hitler. I think he sent a picture of himself.
That's a good gift if you're in for somebody who's into Hitler. Those people.
Happy anniversary. Here's a picture of me.
Well, you know, it's like if you were really into a band and they send you like an autographed photo.
You know what? When you put it that way, it makes a lot more sense. I just think about getting a picture of Hitler, and I'm just like,
Here's the thing about the Nazis. They loved the guy. They loved the guy. That's a good gift for a Hitler.
that's true.
Or a
And I
Hitler
mean, if
person.
you're that popular,
Yeah.
you're gonna cash in on that fame, I guess, in a weird way. Because I mean, who wants to go shopping? You're busy trying to overthrow a whole race of people.
Yeah. Try to take over the world.
Just get them a nice silver frame, put my picture, and I'll write them a nice little note. So, the hotel regularly transmitted Hitler's speeches through speakers inside and outside the premises via a shortwave antenna installed on the roof, which I think that was something you brought up in the old episode.
Whoa. Yeah, I think I do remember that.
So while complete guest records haven't been publicly released, much like a certain someone with an islands list that we're never going to get, historical accounts confirm that the hotel hosted numerous high-ranking Nazi officials. Ida Eichhorn explicitly promised that, quote, friends will always have a safe refuge in her hotel. This promise takes on new significance in light of J. Edgar Hoover's declassified memo specifically mentioning the Eichhorn's connection to Hitler and identifying the hotel as a potential refuge location if Hitler had indeed escaped.
J. Edgar Hoover, if you could talk to anyone alive or dead, would not be a bad choice.
I mean, it's definitely up there.
That guy knew so much stuff about everyone.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I think so. I mean, I think you could do that with a lot of presidents, though. And if they had to tell you the truth,
Yeah, but he's the guy who had the dirt on the presidents.
I feel like all the presidents have dirt on the presidents.
That's probably true.
I mean, almost all of them. I mean, most of them were in Skull and Bones.
I've always said if they had to tell you the truth, and it was any living person, Vladimir Putin.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you get a high-ranking KGB guy, he's going to have dirt for days.
He probably knows stuff presidents don't know about, like UFOs and stuff.
You know
Just
what?
he's
Based
got, like,
on
an
the
iron
way
grip
that
on-
it
yeah.
seems like things are going, and with all our intelligence agencies, yeah, there's probably a lot of stuff they hide from presidents at this point.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if you go back maybe 50 or 70 years, like I feel like
it started going downhill at JFK.
that's actually where I was getting ready to go with that thought is I feel like they told him too much and he was like, that's messed up. No,
Yeah.
and they're like, we got to get rid of you.
Yeah.
So yeah, Hoover would be a good one though. Cause he was head of FBI?
Yeah. From like the 30s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back when things were wild in the
He would
FBI.
know all about JFK. He would know all about stuff in World War II. He would know if Hitler was down there and we just didn't do anything about it because it'd be weird.
Um, it's
He would know about UFOs. They do UFO stuff in the FBI. They used to.
yep. Because
Yeah.
he would have been around. He would have been running the FBI when all that really
Oh yeah.
started.
He'd know about Marilyn Monroe, Martin Luther King, all that stuff.
Yeah. Don't remember if he was a Skull and Bones guy.
I don't either.
I don't think.
Another great movie, J. Edgar.
I haven't seen that.
Leonardo DiCaprio plays him. Amazing movie.
Really? I had no. I did
One
not.
of my favorite Leonardo DiCaprio
Okay,
movies.
I might need to check that out.
And it was Munich, by the way.
What?
It was Munich.
Did I say something wrong?
No, the movie was Munich.
Oh, okay.
Those are my two movie recommendations: Munich and J. Edgar. Amazing historical movies.
Anytime you say a word like that, I'm just like, did I mispronounce something?
No,
I might have mispronounced something.
so far
It's
good.
Munich, right?
This guy, this Joker. We got to keep it light. We're doing the Hitler.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do, man. That's what I'm trying to do. We do need. I keep mentioning it, and the more I think about it, I'm like, we've never done Skull and Bones.
No, Geronimo.
I was seeing some interesting reasons. I won't go off on a side.
You know, it kind of takes me off though because I think this just proves something about our own government because we are not opposed to overthrowing governments down there. We have stuff like the war on drugs. We do stuff like the Iran Contra, you know, and we knew
Like the Contra stuff.
there was Nazis. Mengele,
Yep.
one of the greatest monsters in history, and we didn't do anything.
Well, a fair amount of them we wanted to bring here so we could use them because
Right.
we were going into the Cold War next.
Right. It just we had the capability to get them. Probably we just didn't do it.
But why we didn't do it is the real question.
Yeah. Right.
So back to hotels.
Okay.
In South America. Hotel Lau Lau, which is another one you've talked about, 700 miles southwest of Buenos Aires, was built with German funding between 1934 and 1938 in a remote area of Patagonia, located between Nahul Hapuai and Moreno Lakes in what is now Nahul Hapuai National Park. The hotel was designed by architect Alejandro Bustillo and built with cypress logs and larch tile roofing in the Canadian home style. The hotel's history contains suspicious elements that align with Nazi escape preparations. A fire completely destroyed the building on October 26, 1939, but it was quickly rebuilt and reopened on December 15th, 1940, suggesting its strategic importance.
It's like 5 years before the war ended.
Yep, they were already setting stuff up.
Yeah.
Research by shark hunters documented that staff at Lau Lau made Nazi salutes and mentioned SS members having large parties on April 20th, which, if you don't know, it's Hitler's birthday. Even more intriguing is the documented visit of President Eisenhower to Hotel Lau Lau in 1960.
What?
This visit is particularly notable given Eisenhower's 1952 statement that, quote, "We have been unable to unearth one bit of tangible evidence of Hitler's death." His presence at a known Nazi-funded facility raises questions about what American intelligence agencies knew about Nazi fugitives
What?
in Argentina. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Dang. Now Eisenhower wasn't. He wasn't. He was the opposite of fascist.
Oh yeah, I would agree with that. But
So
also,
that, like, what's going on?
A lot of stuff that we're not important enough to
No.
be in on. So that there's heavily redacted FBI documents which we previously examined, including the November 3rd, 1945 letter to J. Edgar Hoover claiming Hitler was living, quote, in a great underground establishment beneath a vast hacienda 675 miles west from Florianopolis. Um, this gains credibility in light of the Argentine revelations. The letter details description of an underground complex with photoelectric cells and sophisticated security measures which align with the levels of organization and resources documented in newly declassified Argentine files.
They had him. Hitler was there.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
He was on this huge, massive, I mean, what I say, 675 miles. It was west of there. It was humongous, though. Just out in the middle of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
So recent archaeological discoveries provide physical evidence that support the FBI reports. Researchers from University of Buenos Aires discovered ruins in the Teyu Corral Park in northern Argentina near Paraguay that may have been intended as a Nazi hideout. At the site, they found 5 German coins minted between 1938 and 1941 and a fragment of a porcelain plate bearing the inscription made in Germany.
We got him, boys.
Daniel Chevelson, the archaeologist team leader, stated, quote, apparently, halfway through the Second World War, the Nazis had a secret project to build shelters for top leaders in the event of defeat. Inaccessible sites in the middle of deserts, in the mountains, on a cliff, or in the middle of the jungle like this. While so that's the end of that quote. While definitive proof of their intended use as Nazi hideouts remains limited, these discoveries align with the FBI's descriptions of remote Nazi facilities in South America. So, the FBI's Los Angeles office reported from July 1945 describing an informant who claimed to have met Hitler and his party after they landed from a submarine in Argentina now appears less like a theory and more like intelligence reporting that may have been really accurate. And that was how we suspected it based on
Yeah.
everything you put together.
12,000, and they wouldn't take the big guy.
Oh, yeah, they took the big guy.
Oh yeah. No, there's just what was Eisenhower doing down there? I can't stop thinking about that.
And you know what? I couldn't find any. There's nothing else that I could find about that, but that was something that as I went through this, I'm like, why would you go down
I
there?
wonder if it was like diplomatic, like because we brought all those scientists over.
Mm-hmm.
Eisenhower warned against the military-industrial complex
Mm-hmm.
and his farewell. So that would have been his final year as president, because JFK would have taken office in January of '61.
Mm-hmm.
So it might have been a diplomatic mission to be like, talk to them and see if they're influencing our people. See, to make sure that they're not messing with our, like, we're like, look, man, we're not doing any more war. We said we got you, but we just want to make sure that you're not calling shots, or that you're not trying to like sabotage our space program, or you know what I mean? Like,
Just stay down there and be quiet.
yeah, it might be like a deal, like, oh, I just want you to know, leader to leader, like, we know, and I'm here to chat with you, and we're not going to do anything, but don't stop.
It'll be a big mess for us if
Yeah.
we say that you're actually down here.
But we can touch you if you start like issuing orders to the people inside our government. That's probably what it was.
That's very gracious of you.
Yeah.
So the declassified documents shed new light on the role of Juan Perón, who came to power in Argentina in 1946. The documents reveal that Perón's government didn't merely turn a blind eye to Nazi fugitives, but actively facilitated their integration into Argentinian society. The systematic support included providing false documentation, financial assistance, and protection from international justice efforts.
There you go.
The 20,000 strong Nazi rally held in Buenos Aires
That would be a red flag.
in 1938.
Oh god.
So while it's still going on, they're actively supporting what's happening.
What year did they really invade though? What year did they invade the Rhineland?
Ooh,
But even then, even
more
after
the
that,
history
he
guy,
was
like, when
still
it comes to-
popular.
You're better at pulling those numbers out of
All
you.
right, let's look at that. But even then, people still didn't think he was going to try to invade everywhere. What year did Nazis invade Rhineland?
A little later.
36.
Oh, it already happened.
Yeah.
It had already happened. So like I said, it demonstrates that Nazi sympathies in Argentina predated the war's end and provides a foundation for a post-war refuge network. So the declassified documents show how these existing sympathies were leveraged to create comprehensive support systems for fleeing Nazis. So like they were setting this up so long before the war was over.
They knew Hitler's crazy. They're like, he's gonna drive this off the freaking.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, that at least knows that they knew the war was gonna get so big that
it wasn't going to work out, I guess, or they knew how big of a gamble they
they
were
just like to
taking.
plan. Yeah.
And they did like to plan. I mean, the Nazis got real busy with a lot. I mean, they dude, how many episodes have we done on just the weird Nazi stuff at this point? From like UFOs,
Oh yeah,
like they had their hands in so many pots.
it's kind of crazy.
Like they were doing a lot
Yeah, they were busy.
for being a not humongous country
Yeah,
too.
Germany's pretty big.
I mean, it's not tiny, but
I think it's the biggest in Europe,
is it?
population wise. Yeah,
That okay? Not landmass wise though.
it's gotta be close.
It is up there.
Ukraine, if you don't count like Eastern Europe.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. So, among the most disturbing revelations in the declassified documents are details about how plastic surgery clinics that opened near the end of World War II. So, these facilities, funded with German money, were strategically positioned to help Nazi fugitives alter their appearances and assume new identities. The sophistication of this operation suggests planning that began, again, well before Germany's defeat became inevitable. The documents also reveal the extent to which Argentine officials were willing to provide false documentation and new identities to Nazi fugitives. This wasn't a case of a few corrupt officials taking bribes, but rather a systematic government program designed to protect war criminals from international justice. Like they were setting up, getting ready for like, this is going to go bad. We're going to help you get out of here. Like it's almost like they wanted to see how it was going to play out, but also like we're going to set up a way for you to get away. So like go 100 on this.
Yeah,
And if it doesn't work, we'll get you out of there.
yeah.
So the declassified Argentine documents provide new context for Stalin's famous response when asked about Hitler's death at the Potsdam Conference. When President Truman directly asked Stalin whether Hitler was really dead, Stalin replied simply, no. Given what we know now about the extensive Nazi networks in South America, Stalin's skepticism appears increasingly justified. The Soviet Union's claims about finding Hitler's remains and the subsequent secrecy of surrounding this investigation until the 1990s take on a new significance. If the Soviets knew or suspected that Hitler had escaped, their deception about his death would have served multiple political purposes, including justifying continued military presence in Eastern Europe and maintaining the narrative of Soviet victory.
Yep, it's all propaganda.
So the declassified CIA cable from October 17th, 1955, reporting that former German trooper Philip Citrion had met Hitler, which is what we talked about. That's where that picture comes from. In Columbia City of Tunja in 1954, gains new credibility when viewed alongside the Argentine documents. Citron, who was co-owner of the Maracaibo Times newspaper, provided the CIA with a photograph of himself with a man he claimed was Hitler. The CIA memo stated that Hitler had left Argentina for Colombia in January 1955. The CIA memo.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say.
A
I feel like the
decade
evidence
later-
is all there. We don't never had a body.
Nope. Still don't have a body.
Never will.
So all this suggests a network that extended beyond Argentina's borders. The systematic nature of Nazi support documented in the Argentine files makes such continued movement and protection of high-value fugitives entirely plausible. And here's the twist that I don't think you were expecting, Dennis.
It did. Well, it sounds like you said they had a 20,000 parade in 38. It sounds like this Prone guy. It sounds like these are just puppet governments.
Maybe. I mean, that would make sense.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they were. There was definitely money flowing from Germany.
They probably just set it up so the governments were friendly.
Who gave them a bunch of money?
Yeah.
It was just like,
Made sure
hey,
that because they know how to do a coup.
yeah.
So they just
Oh
made
yeah,
sure
they definitely know how to do a coup.
they just made sure that their people were in, just in case.
So the declassified documents provide new insights into the role of a certain Catholic clergy
Ooh.
in facilitating Nazi escapes. The so-called rat lines were supported, which I don't know if we talked about this before. The rat lines are like how they got out. That's what they were called, the rat lines. They were supported by some clergy of the Catholic Church, particularly Austrian Bishop Elos Hadal and Croatian priest Krunoslav Dragonovic. Bishop Hadal, a Nazi sympathizer and rector of the Pontification Istituto Tenutinico Santa Maria dell'Anima in Rome, actively aided the escape of wanted Nazi war criminals, including Franz Stangl, Gustav Wagner, Alois Brunner, Erich Priebke, and Adolf Eichmann. Hudal was later open about his role, stating, quote, I thank God that he allowed me to visit and comfort many victims in their prisons and concentration camps and to help them escape with false identity papers.
What?
The escape routes were also known as the monastery route
Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
because war criminals would often hide in monasteries.
That makes sense. If you got a couple priests that are pro or whatever, like this guy.
So these monasteries that they're hiding in, sometimes right next to their former victims, Jews headed to Israel.
This is like reverse Schindler's List.
Mm-hmm. That is exactly what this is.
Yeah. Another great movie.
It is.
It's the movie episode.
So the International Committee of the Red Cross issued refugees laissez-passer documents allowing passage from Italy, which were accepted as de facto passports in South America. Now there's the question of how much Pope Pius XII knew about the rat lines. That remains controversial. We don't really know what he knew as far as what was happening here because these were sympathizers within the church. We're not saying the church is widespread on this, but there definitely were people in the Catholic Church who were pro-Nazi.
All it would take is a few running the right places.
Yep, and high-ranking positions to help them move about.
And if there's so many people,
Oh, thousands.
because when they let the people out of the camps, like the churches and the charities would be the ones taking care of them.
Yep.
Like the army wouldn't have. So like, yeah, it'd be the perfect hiding place.
Yep.
Just floods of people without documents that had all been had their life taken away.
Yep.
You could just slip in.
Yep.
Oh wow, this keeps getting worse.
So in March of 2020, just a few years ago, the Vatican opened its archives from Pius's tenure for the first time to researchers, which potentially shed new light on all these questions. So while Operation Paperclip officially focused on bringing Nazi scientists to the United States, the declassified documents reveal connections between U.S. intelligence operations and Argentine escape networks. Starting in 1947, U.S. intelligence used existing rat lines to move certain Nazi strategists and scientists. They used the same networks. We used the same network.
Oh,
Instead of sending them to South America, we brought them here. That's what we did.
you think it'd be highly suspicious? Like you're the Red Cross and like. It's like, where do you want to go? Israel, 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 Argentina. You'd be like, the place that just had the big Nazi rally 5 years ago.
Yes, it feels very friendly.
It feels like a place I'd want to go.
It's my kind of climate. I'm looking for some jungles,
Right.
maybe some mountains. Just I want a well-rounded vacation spot.
Highly sus.
So the timing of these activities occurring as the United States and Soviet Union were beginning their global competition for influence suggests some Western intelligence agencies may have overlooked Nazi fugitive activities in exchange for anti-communist cooperations. Evidence suggests information about Nazi fugitives was shared between U.S. intelligence agencies and the Argentine officials.
Okay.
So we were talking to them while they were bringing Nazis in. We were like divvying up the Nazis. It
Yeah.
kind of sounds
Well, okay. In defense,
like you can have Icorn or whoever.
right. Okay, but in defense of the CIA, there really is no defense for this. But
Ooh, this is a weird take for you, but okay, go ahead.
okay, sometimes I do understand. Okay, you're the intelligence community. You want the Nazis that are useful. Okay. Well, you can't just. All these people are in hiding. You just blew up the country. They're hiding in monasteries. They're escaping on U-boats. You got to kind of keep tabs on like everybody so you can get the useful ones.
But the fact that you're trying to vie for the useful Nazis is, I think, the part I have the problem with.
No, no. Okay. Well, I was talking about like paperclip and stuff.
I understand.
I
I
know.
know. I get what we were
I'm not
doing.
saying it's right or morally right. It's
No,
clearly
it's definitely not
it's
that.
clearly wrong. But we switched directly into Cold War
We
mode.
did. And that's a weird thing to have to factor into all this
Yeah.
as we talk about it is like you got rid of the threat from the Nazis, but now you've got this new mounting threat with Stalin and Russia and this whole thing that's starting to kind of
Right. And
everybody's
they're
flare.
taking scientists too. They took a bunch of scientists.
Yes,
So
everybody did.
like I could kind of see how you'd have to keep tabs on everybody because it'd be better to send somebody to Argentina than like let the Soviets have them. Or maybe it's like you got to show some goodwill to the scientists by being like, "See, Von Braun, like we'll let two of your friends go if you come with a." You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not saying it. All I'm saying is there's other motivations than just being like a Nazi, a secret Nazi.
This may be your most pro intelligence community
This is my
episode
most pro. You
ever.
found my issue. No, I mean it's clearly wrong. I'm
Look,
just
when
saying.
it comes to Nazis, though, like I mean, you want to get your share of Nazis, obviously.
I'm just saying. I can see how
They were very productive.
I can see the logic behind it. I can see why you would do this because even though you're letting some just go, like it's all part of a bigger picture. Like
Oh man, did they infiltrate you, Dennis?
no,
What's
I
happening
just
right now?
it's kind of like okay, I'm gonna say it. There's a certain list that's never gonna come out.
Starts with an E.
Some days, I kind of get why they're not doing it because
Oh, it'd be full implosion on so much stuff.
it'd be full implosion, and I believe that list is a blackmail list
Um,
from the Mossad.
I mean, honestly, like the flight log thing is a complete. That's
It's
a
like a
fake.
nothing burger.
That's
Yeah,
a
it's like
nothing burger because they weren't taking planes into there; they were going on boats.
yeah.
Anybody who was there to do
Also,
anything,
rich people just share private jets like all the time.
there's that. Oh, there is a fair amount of that, which I wish I don't. I will never get to that level.
No.
But yeah, that is a thing. Like they share each other's jet. I don't know what that. I'm assuming just hey, you got a buddy who's got a plane in the city you're in. Maybe I don't. I don't
I
know.
don't know. Yeah.
I don't know how that works.
It's just not
I'm
that
definitely
weird.
zero short on knowing what that
Yeah.
feels like or means.
I'm just saying, like, it's stuff
Support
like
the show.
it's stuff like that where it's like in a perfect world of justice, you'd release all that, you would put people in jail, but in a world where you might, if you're running a sophisticated blackmail operation, there might be stuff in there that's fake.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like there might be so it's like then it's like okay, so let's say a certain foreign government was running this operation. It might be if you released everything, it might implicate your friends. It might in a perfect world you just put everyone in jail. But we live in like a very messy world. It's the same thing with this Nazi thing. Like if your goal is to get the ones that are helpful and to not give anything to Russia, you got to keep tabs on like everybody. You got to have like you got to be able to negotiate with them as a group. You got to like show some goodwill so that they cooperate with you.
Why do I feel like you're kind of sucking up to the CI people that are probably
Please
watching
don't
us?
kill me.
We are very happy in life, just so you know. We did not unalive ourselves. If it happens, we didn't
I
do
guess
it.
if morality is not the issue and winning the next war is the issue, I get it.
Yeah, I get what. And look, I get what you're saying. I'm
Yeah,
making jokes,
I
but
know.
like, I don't like the point you're making, but I also don't think you're wrong.
Right.
Like, that's where we're at with that.
Don't hide Nazis.
I mean, in a perfect world. So the CIA and military intelligence used Operation Paperclip to bring intelligence sources to the U.S. while simultaneously being aware of the broader Nazi escape, which, again, this is kind of what you just said.
Right.
So I do reluctantly, you're right. I mean, I don't like it. It doesn't feel good. I feel very dirty right now. But that explains like the escape routes to South America. Documents suggest U.S. authorities were selective about which Nazis to pursue because we did go after some of them.
Oh yeah, we executed
Like, I
them.
mean, there was the Nuremberg trials and all that. Like, we did like, but when you look at that, it's like, did we just sacrifice a few to like satisfy the world, basically?
Dude, it's all propaganda.
I mean, it is.
It's nothing to do with justice. Otherwise, Mengele would have been
Oh yeah, he would have been.
first on the firing
Yep.
squad, dude. It's all war is propaganda, man. Think about when the Ukraine Russia thing started and they had like the ghost of Kiev and just like Vladimir Putin is turned green and he's falling downstairs and he's gonna die and then like
Now he's fine.
and this Israel thing that's happening right now with Iran, they're like not a single missile even got into Israeli territory. But then at the same time, they're like playing video
Of
over a skyscraper of missiles hitting. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like,
Tel Aviv's blowing
yeah,
up. Like
it's just there's so much propaganda.
yeah, when you look at the news, I don't know what to believe is going on
Was
right
it
now.
truth is the first casualty of war or something like that? But
Yeah.
um, and
No.
it makes sense. There's no the public interest in knowing exactly what's going on.
Well, then you look at other sources, and Gaza's gone,
Completely gone, but there's still millions of people there.
so it's not gone. Like I don't. Again,
I don't know where those people are based on the pictures I see.
nope. Yeah, that's the thing is, and Tel Aviv's supposedly gone, but then you hear other people saying the Iron Dome's still working.
Yeah.
I've heard mixed, but also the U.S. is got warships out there shooting stuff down to help the Iron Dome because the Iron Dome's down. I've heard the Iron Dome's depleted, but then I hear it's up and running just fine.
Yeah.
Like, what's real anymore?
I've heard mixed things. Like just today before I came over here,
Mhm.
I heard on a news site I was listening to that they let the ones that have hit, they let them hit because they do some kind of they have such good technology that they calculate like
Where it's
oh
gonna-
that one won't hit anywhere that's valuable, therefore we don't want to waste the $50 million missile, you know. And it's like, well, is that true? Like, or are you just incapable of shooting these things down like you used to be, you know? Like, I don't know. Truth is the first casualty of war.
Yes, I mean it's the same. It's just the same. We're just watching the same thing over and over and over again, like in so many different ways. It's the financial aspects of Nazi escape networks are among the most revealing elements the declassified documents reveal. Recently discovered documents show that many Nazis in Argentina had accounts at Schweizerische Kreditanstalt, which is commonly known as Credit Suisse.
Oh, a big shocker.
Yeah, the place where everybody goes to hide their money. Turns out, cool with Nazi money too.
They love money.
Yeah, I get it. That's why they stay neutral all the time. It's just like, we just like money. Can we just bank with you?
Dude, the way the world really works is so terrifying.
Yeah, the further you dig into this, and I feel like most of the people watching this show probably dig into it in very similar ways we do.
Yeah.
And it's probably why you like this show. Like, share, subscribe.
It's a big club. It's a big money club, dude.
It really is. So there's a list of 12,000 Nazis who lived in Argentina in the 1930s that was found, and almost all of them have Swiss bank accounts that contain, quote, monies looted from Jewish victims.
Yeah. Ugh.
German companies such as IG Farben which, if you're not familiar with that company, supplier of Zyklon B gas.
Oh.
And financial institutions like the German Transatlantic Bank and the German Bank of South America. There is a German Bank of South America.
That's
Just
suspicious.
saying the quiet part out loud. Served as transfer channels for Nazis en route to Switzerland. The systematic government support included financial assistance through Argentine banks. So it has long been suspected that Nazis paid the Perons for refuge and that Eva Peron arranged for transfer of Nazi gold to Argentina.
Don't Cry for Me, Argentina? That Eva?
Mhm.
Oh,
So,
great movie. I've never actually seen that movie.
no, but when you say it like that, I'm just like, oh, is that what that was about? I don't know. Leave a comment. So the Simone Wiesenthal Center is currently investigating Credit Suisse's alleged ties to Nazism, with news expected between February and March of next year, 2026.
Just in time to get them.
Yeah, after they're
80
all.
years later.
Yeah. So U.S. senators reported that Credit Suisse held nearly 100 accounts to this day linked to German Nazis and members of Nazi-linked groups in Argentina.
There is some rich kid.
Until very recent years, like this has been going on the whole time
There is an Instagram influencer
with Nazi money.
who is living off granddad's Nazi money.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there's no doubt in my mind that they exist somewhere.
Yeah. They are on boats and they're taking pictures and they're doing dances on TikTok.
Yep, the synchronized ones that TikTok tells you to do.
Because they don't need a job.
Nope. Got Nazi money.
Yep.
So the documentary
It gets worse. Okay.
the documented record is supported by oral histories and testimonies from local residents. The shark hunters documented interviews with hotel staff at Lau Lau, again, who performed Nazi salutes and spoke of SS members celebrating Hitler's birthday, as we've talked about before. A waiter in a town near Lau Lau claimed to be Swiss, but knew and sang the Panzerlied, which is a Nazi armored division song. When asked if there was a picture of Hitler in La Falda, a witness responded, "The Eichhorns had one, but they burned it." The Sobreviventes del Holocausto in Argentina project has collected testimonies from Holocaust survivors who immigrated to Argentina after the war.
What a weird place to immigrate. A
You
pro-Nazi.
eh,
It's so weird to me. I don't understand that.
would well, I mean, maybe they don't know better. Just warm climate. Like, I mean, it seems like a nice place to go. Have you ever seen pictures of Argentina? I would love to visit.
20,000 person Nazi rally.
Well, I mean, you don't have the internet back then, so do you know that happened?
Did the Jews just get to pick where they went? Or they just,
I'm not sure. I think to some
it's
extent,
like, I want to
yes.
go to Hawaii.
I mean,
Maybe they had family. I don't know.
look, South America does sound nice. Like overall, despite everything we know about it, like it's a very beautiful place. Like all over that country there's a lot of beauty, a lot of cool things, a lot of history that's not Nazi related, just a lot of history.
That's true.
Like I would love to go at some point.
Yeah. It's also just kind of like a big, wide open,
So they got there though, and many of them did actually encounter former Nazis in their new country,
bad choice.
which was probably super awkward.
Oh, yeah.
SS Captain Enrique Priebecki lived openly in the Pantogenian city of Bariloche until 1991.
Wow.
When he was interviewed by Argentine writer Esteban Buch and spoke openly about his role in the Argentine Caves massacre.
Which I've never heard of.
Well, I mean, it wasn't as big, but I mean, he got to do what he loved.
He's a war criminal.
And he it was a real throwback moment for him, I'm sure. I'm sure he felt alive again in a very terrible way. While many potential witnesses have died of old age and some testimonies remain controversial or unverified, various organizations, included the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum, continued to collect oral histories related to Nazi presence in Argentina. So, the declassification of these Argentine documents represents more than just historical curiosity. They demonstrate how official narratives can be maintained for decades despite contradictory evidence, and how government complicity in war crimes can be systematically covered up. The fact that these documents remained classified for 80 years raises questions about what other historical facts
Yeah.
might be suggested to revisions as more classified materials are released. The discovery also highlights the importance of independent research, such as this show, support the show, and alternative historical investigation. The work done by groups like the Shark Hunters, which, if you're not aware of them, we've talked about them before. We've talked about,
That's cool.
dude, they're awesome.
Yeah.
Like, in the work that they've done, just because they were curious about U-boats and stuff,
Yeah.
and then
It's cool. It is cool. U-boats are cool.
like they blew the lid off of so much of this stuff so early,
Mhm.
and it took forever for anybody to finally come around and be like, yeah, there's more and more stacking up that you guys were really on to something
It's
here.
always the nerds with a special interest.
Yeah.
It's always the A word
Mm-hmm.
that blows things away. It's always a guy who's like, boats are cool. Who just blows the lid off
I'm
everything.
trying not to make jokes right now. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna be
I
good right.
like trains. It's that guy who finds the thing that you're not supposed to find because,
Yes. Yes. And then he gets hyper fixated on it.
yeah.
So they conducted on the ground investigations in Argentina and which proved to be remarkably accurate when compared to official documents now being released. So while declassified Argentine documents provide unprecedented insight into Nazi fugitive networks, they also raise many new questions. If the Argentine government was willing to harbor war criminals like Mengele and Eichmann, would they have drawn the line at Hitler himself? And I think we know the answer to that. And it's
Oh,
no.
no.
It's no, they definitely
No,
wouldn't.
he'd be the VIP.
Oh, yeah. He's getting special treatment the whole way
He
through.
got his underground bunker.
Yeah. He's getting bottle service, all that. So the infrastructure documented in these files was certainly sophisticated enough to support even the most high profile fugitives. The documents also reveal gaps in our knowledge about the full extent of international cooperation in harboring Nazi fugitives. References to activities in Chile, Cuba, and other South American countries suggest that Argentina was part of a broader regional network that may have involved multiple governments. So the Argentine revelations serve as a powerful reminder that official historical narratives should always be subjected to scrutiny and revision as new evidence emerges. The systematic nature of the cover up documented in these files demonstrates how governments can maintain false narratives for decades through classification and secrecy. Um, and we see that in so many declassified documents that we get released that are heavily redacted and
The world does not work the way they tell you.
no.
Nobody's really. It's all power. It's all institutions. It's all money. It's all keeping the wheels greased, keeping the money flowing, maintaining power. Even the things that we think of as like trying to help us, they're there to keep us just happy enough that we don't overthrow things.
Yeah, keep the masses at bay.
Yeah. That's all it is. I mean, there is some good things and there's some good people, but it's just like this just proves it was not about justice.
Mm-mm.
Um, but nothing really is. It's just this is the big group of people in power. Like
Mhm.
they're always way more friendly with each other behind closed doors. You know, elections are kind of a bit of a show. Politics is a bit of a show. Um, and yeah, it's depressing.
It really is. Um, yeah, You got to make jokes about the whole thing the whole way
Yeah.
through. Otherwise, you're just gonna cry.
There's just no justice. Like, there's no real motivation for them to do the right thing because that's not what a government is. A government is like who holds the keys to, like you said, keep the masses at bay, keep the bank accounts full. We were like the New York Times was denying the Holocaust like deep into it.
hmm
Like it wasn't until the Soviets got there first that we were like, "Oh my gosh, look at all this stuff they were, and we knew that stuff was going, but it's like it wouldn't it's not in a just world you'd be like, "Look at this horrendous atrocity," but like we don't really care about stuff like that.
Nope.
It's like however how many regimes do we support that are just as bad as the ones we overthrew, in the 2000s? And
It's how did it benefit us,
oh yeah,
and not us as a collective. Us as a very small group that's in power.
yes, it's the keys to power, man.
Yep.
It's what institutions do you have to? What institutions really hold the scepter?
Yep.
And here it's like corporations.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's what
Yeah.
we are. That is what we are at this point.
And then we wonder why, like, we were talking earlier about how you got to promote the show, you got to share it, you got to like it, you got to comment, you got to like force your way through this algorithm thing because, I'm finding more and more on the internet. When you really think about the world in terms of this, everything starts to make sense. Look how Facebook is now. Like, it literally, I could go on Facebook right now and I might have to scroll for like a minute before I see a post from a friend.
Yep.
It used to be just that. Now it's all like reels and ads and pages that you don't even follow.
Yep.
And it's like and then you wonder why if you make content like this that like blow, that tries to tell the truth, it's like, well, oh, why is that so hard? Why isn't that promoted more? It's like it's not promoted because let's be honest, like YouTube and TikTok and stuff, these things don't exist for independent outlet. They exist as a thing you can use to make you a consumer of the same crap that's on TV, of the same crap that's on the radio. That's why there'll be like a trend that will just go off. And it's like, I remember once I started a new TikTok account and I saw like raw TikTok. It was like, what is TikTok like if you don't like anything, you don't have any friends? And I got down this rabbit hole where there was some rich girl in a black dress and it played a 15-second clip of a song and she did a certain twirl and she hit a light switch and that was the video. Okay, then I still got like the behind the scenes of that trend and then it was like other people doing the trend. Then people were arguing about like who did the twirl and the light switch better. And it's like all the meanwhile you're getting these ads and you're getting these, it's like go on YouTube now. We have YouTube, we have Google accounts that are old. We're old people. If a kid gets on YouTube now, starts a new account. If you like, when I go to my parents' house, they don't have YouTube, so like I'll be a guest on their Roku or whatever. It's like Mr. Beast, Jimmy Fallon, SNL clips, NBC News. It's just the big boys. It's just the big. Everything is like that. It's so
Well, we've talked about
so
this. The only people that seem to get through, and I don't have anything against a lot of them because a lot of them, like I learn a lot from, it's that they have deep pockets to make it so they can push this content through.
Well, I'm also coming to the conclusion that like there are people who, yeah, they'll pay their interview guest $5,000 to appear on the show, or they're friends with Jake Paul, or there are two journalists that are legends in the field. I'm not gonna say their name because I do think they're good, but like the more you find out about them, it's like, dude, I wouldn't be shocked that these UFO guys are like on the inside. Like they tend to know stuff before it happens. And it's like, because they got sources. And it's like, but then when you learn stuff about topics like this, you find out how much of it is psyops and how much is like controlled disclosure. I was watching the whole thing about Luis Elizondo the other day and how the dude just like lies about stuff.
Mhm.
He'll like there's been like multiple instances where I have like a picture and be like, this is a mothership, and it's like an irrigation building or something. Or he'll be like, this video shows a tic tac or whatever, it's like a balloon. Or like now they're even questioning whether ATIP even existed. But we know he's an intelligence operative. We know that. But then it's like ATIP might not even exist. It might have just been OSAP, and OSAP was the one that was doing the weird paranormal Skinwalker Ranch stuff. So
Mhm.
it's like, so why is an intelligence operative out in the media talking to these super? It's always the same journalists. It's always Russ Coulthard. It's always the same people, the same YouTube channels, the same, and they get access to the same researchers and the same whistleblowers, and it's like, bro, the whole thing is a big. Now there are truth tellers, but it's not about the truth, man. That's the last thing on these people's mind.
Well, and doing this so long, like, and the things that spike with this show are always weird.
Hmm.
Like the things that somehow get let
They want you
through.
talking about murder stuff. They want
Yes.
you talking about,
Oh, I mean, our biggest episode is a conspiracy about Karen Silkwood.
and I think the word murder's in the title.
It is, which,
The biggest episode I ever had on the MK Usual channel was about a murder.
and it's weird because so many people say unalive, and that seems to be like, oh, you can't say
I think
this and
that's
you can't say
fake.
that. But if you say it the right way, the algorithm works.
See, that unalive thing started on TikTok, and I remember when it started, and it's because TikTok has like
They're
crazy
they
restrictions.
are very weird in their restrictions. They're actually the most liberal with us and the show we do,
Right.
but then they pull the weirdest stuff that we put up. It's the weirdest things that I'm just like, why?
Well, that should tell you what they don't want you talking about. I mean,
Things
look
with
at
the
the
weather,
look
apparently.
yeah, look at the videos they throttled us on YouTube. It's like, why? And you're telling me people aren't interested in that? You go to any room with 10 people and you say
Mhm.
certain words involving the weather, and you're gonna have people be like, "Oh yeah, I see stuff like that.
Yes.
I believe stuff like that." People are looking for that stuff, and they'll just throttle it, dude.
Well, and I have so many conversations with people, especially on that topic, that like everybody talks about this
Everybody's interested.
and has a belief in it, and more comes out that it's true. And that's the one that is the one that has dinged us the most in all the years we've done, and all, like, if you look back at our past episodes, that stuff gets dinged harder than anything.
That's a truth casualty moment, because if that stuff was accepted by the general populace, politicians would have to talk about it. It's like the thing that Britain's trying to do with the sun right now. Am I going way too off topic here?
No, I'm
Okay.
actually fine with this.
It's okay. So
I'll pull it back. We'll get there.
I was talking to you earlier today. So for months now, Britain has been saying they're gonna spend like $60 million, and they're gonna like dim the sun.
Hmm.
Okay. So today I wake up and I look at the news, and the first article I see is British intelligence, or the British Army warns that Putin might try to dim the sun in Britain as a weapon.
It's like they're going to use their own thing that they were going to do and then use it as a false flag.
Yeah, and I was like, wait a second. I remember very clearly 3 months ago you were talking about doing this, and now Putin. How in the world would Putin do that? How would you even do that? Like, you couldn't fly a bunch of planes through British airspace. Like, that's literally impossible. So it's like you clearly are doing something stupid, and if it goes wrong, you want to be like, Putin, time for war. It's like
There it is. Yep. You're
it's
going to need somebody to blame it on if the thing you do really backfires.
yeah, and it's always Russia for some reason. It's like it's bizarre.
It's Russia and China, which I'm
Someday
not trying to be pro either one of those, but those are our boogeymen.
I'm not pro them, but they are boogeymen.
They, they are our boogeymen for everything.
I wondered for years, how could so North Korea, they barely have
Oh,
any
and North Korea. You can't forget about North
they
Korea.
barely have any internet. That their whole all their media is like, we're at war with the United States, and you like, yeah, we have famine right now, but we're gonna defeat the United States. It's all about hating us, right?
Yes.
And I used to wonder, like, how could those people live in those conditions? And all it takes is for the government to just trash us over and over and over, and they just accept it. Until the last decade, starting about 2015, all this stuff with Russia started. And I realized that's literally, I'm not saying Russia's good. I'm just saying, like, that's what we do with them. If there's an election we don't like, it was Russia. If we mess up the sun, it was Russia. If Russia doesn't like us putting a tank on their border, that's them being aggressive.
Hmm.
Like, it's just a boogeyman. It's just a license to do whatever we want.
Yes.
And we don't care how many people die.
Well, they want to reduce the population, so that's actually a plus.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually a big
I
plus.
wonder if they want nuclear war.
You know what? Well, I mean,
If they could have it without taking the blame and still be in power after the aftermath, I think they'd be fine with it.
oh, I think if you could pull Klaus Schwab aside and ask him, I think that's exactly what he'd say.
Yeah.
Like, if I could get away with it and it would work,
Oh yeah,
yeah, let's just do that. That would be easier.
because over
I need like a
time,
few million drones to
right?
do the things I need them to do so that I can live the way I want to live. But like all the rest of these people are just in the way. And it's with the internet and everything else, it's getting harder to control them.
Yes.
There's more of them and they're harder to control.
And the dead
And if they
internet
ever figured it
theory,
out,
the bots on the internet now. Yeah.
oh yeah, we had one, I'm pretty sure, hop in a chat on a premiere
Yeah.
last week, just spouting some crazy stuff.
Well, you
And
could.
one person was trying to talk to him, and they weren't really responding to what that person was saying. I sent you screenshots of that chat. I wish YouTube let you keep the chats that are happening during premieres
I know.
because
I
they
don't
get
understand why they
wild.
do that. I know.
Some weeks it's very like dull, dim, normal conversation. Sometimes it's nothing. And then other weeks you get these weird, what I'm assuming are bots that come in and just start. They're on topic.
Oh, I found out on my other channel. I'll test it on this one.
Okay.
Anytime we would do an MK Usual show and I would mention Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, Ethereum, blockchain, digital currency, Bitcoin, anytime I would do that, we would get comments, sometimes up to 3 or 4. This is a very small channel. We have like 80 subscribers. We would get a comment that's like, it would have like a crypto question, or it would say like something about a blockchain. It would clearly be a bot. And
Mhm.
sometimes we would have multiple bots, and the show wouldn't even be about that.
Oh,
We
it's
would just in the middle of it say Bitcoin, or say, and that could be why they do Bitcoin. And then it's like the bots somehow, because it's a transcript somewhere. The internet does not work like we think. You cannot convince me otherwise. It does not work like
no.
we're told it. I'm convinced there's millions and millions and millions of bots. The odds, if you're on Twitter or Reddit, especially arguing with somebody, you're probably arguing with a bot or a government person.
Well, now with AI, it can react faster than you think it can,
Mhm.
just because I've fed stuff through for transcriptions and to do different things like with the show and stuff. We're like, no, it can go through videos very quickly.
So that tells me like who's creating these things, why? Why is there a bot here asking me a random crypto question? Why are there 3 of them asking me a variation of the same question when the show had nothing to do with that? Who created this thing? Who's funding it? How many millions of these things are there? If they're hitting my freaking little channel, like, when you're on Facebook, like, how many times have you talked to someone on Facebook and been like, this is not a real person? Like, there's no way. Like, Reddit especially, dude.
I mean, being in the crypto space for as long as I have and posting about it at various points, oh yeah, there's definitely times where it's very obvious. Like the amount of spam I get on in places like X and stuff where it's like I've just posted stuff talking about it
Oh yeah.
and then my inbox is full of stuff. The comments get weird. They'll comment on other things that are unrelated to it about crypto because my account's talked about crypto. Which we've said it so much on this episode. I'm kind of curious to see
Oh, I
if it
bet
ends
you
up.
anything we get one.
I'm this is gonna be a good experiment on that.
You're telling me that technology exists and there's millions of these bots running around and the CIA is not doing anything with it? You're telling me it's election time and you're telling me there's not at least a million bots out there saying what the CIA wants you to do? Like, give me a break, dude. The internet is not free.
Well, and yeah, now with yeah, AI especially, like you could tell it to go interact with all the things that are like anything you see that's doing this, start interacting with it. And I mean, we've all had conversations with AI. Like it can respond in a coherent way that
Oh,
makes
yeah.
sense in a conversation.
Or not. Or it just says a random crypto thing.
That's true too, depending on
mean-
how sophisticated, how much bandwidth they're dedicating to it, how much server space, and how many GPUs they want to commit to trying to do that.
So it's another thing. So you're telling me those things wouldn't downvote stuff they don't like. You're telling me those things, they don't have ways of keeping all these transcripts somewhere. Like it's all, dude. I don't even know how we got here. It's just a big. It makes me not want to do things sometimes, even though this is my passion. That's why I'll never stop doing it.
Oh no, I'll never stop doing it either. And
But sometimes it makes me like, we hear this stuff about Diddy and stuff. It's like, why, I like to do comedy, I do some music, I want to do more of these things, but it's like, why would I even want to be famous? If the reward is you get pulled into a mansion to like do stuff for blackmail, it's like, why would you even want to be in that world? Like, yeah, it makes me scared about like what humanity is, what like why we're this way, why those people rise to the top. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, and I need to go ahead and do the episode that as like has various versions that I've written about this topic.
I might do a dead internet episode.
I would love to hear that
I
actually.
might actually work on that tonight.
Um, Let me pull it
Okay,
back.
let's pull it back.
Let's wrap up Nazis in Argentina. So, for researchers investigating alternative historical theories, the Argentine documents provide validation for the importance of following documentary evidence, even when it contradicts official narratives. The fact that so much of what independent researchers suspected has now been confirmed by official documents suggests that these other theories about post war Nazi activities may also prove to have substantial factual foundations. The declassified documents reveal that Nazi influence in South America extended far beyond individual fugitives seeking refuge. The systematic nature of the support networks, the involvement of government officials at the highest levels, and the sophisticated infrastructure created to support these activities suggest a coordinated effort that may have had geopolitical implications for the Cold War period. And I think that's pretty obvious at this point.
Yeah.
The timing of these activities occurring as the United States and Soviet Union were beginning their global competition for influence raises questions about whether Western intelligence agencies may have been willing to overlook Nazi fugitive activities in exchange for anti communist cooperation. And I think that's pretty much the conclusion we already came to.
Yeah.
So, the declassification of Argentina's documents, in closing, these Nazi documents represent a watershed moment in our understanding of World War II's aftermath. These revelations confirm that the official narrative of Nazi leadership's fate was incomplete at best and deliberately deceptive at worst. The systematic government support for war criminals documented in these files demonstrates that justice was not served for many of the Holocaust perpetrators. As we continue to examine these documents and their implications,
Amplification.
yeah, that's right. We must remain open to the possibility that other aspects of accepted World War II history may also require revision. The Argentine revelations reminds us that the truth about the historical events is often more complex and disturbing than official narratives suggest, and that the pursuit of historical accuracy requires constant vigilance against the tendency of governments to classify inconvenient truths. So, the story of Nazi fugitives is in Argentina is far from over. As more documents are declassified and more evidence emerges, we may finally learn the full truth about what happened to Adolf Hitler and other Nazi leaders in the chaotic final days of World War II. Until then, the Argentine revelations stand as powerful evidence that the official story of Nazi Germany's end was not really the whole story. And I'll leave it there.
All
That's
right, great episode.
so.
Once again, blew this thing wide open in the first third of the script. We called it.
I mean, we blew this thing open 4 years ago.
That's true. Yeah.
So, yeah. Thank you all so much for listening. Again, I know I keep saying it, but it is the thing. Like, if you enjoy this, that's what we need. We need likes, we need shares, we need subscribes, we need comments, we need 5-star ratings. Like, if you can support us, please go to the website, crypticaccounts.com, and click on support the show through either cash or cryptocurrencies. We appreciate it. It helps it so that we can do more of this because this is very time consuming to put all this together. So the more we can do with funding is helpful. But if you can't, we completely understand. If you're just into this and you want to help us out, do the things for free that help us out because we need it. So thank you so much for listening. Dennis, thank you as always for being my skeptic partner in all this.
You're right.
And I love you, buddy.
I love you.
Bye.
Bye.